We are live. Welcome to my video. So this is going to be a spoiler-ridden thoughts video on Sammy J and Randy's R.E.M. And I am going to briefly acknowledge I realize I could have called this video something like, why isn't anybody talking about the musical genius of R.E.M. and then or something like, I can't get this lullaby out of my head, something like that. But, it's kind of clickbaity, so I avoided that. And I realize it sounds weird to say you're spoiling a song, but then, either you've watched up to this point and still haven't watched it's right here on YouTube for free. It's 2.5 minutes. If you keep watching past this point, I'm going to assume you did watch it, because I am really glad it wasn't spoiled for me. So that covers spoilers. This is a song I really love. The song has swearing in it, so will this video. Yeah, let's see, it must by now have been at least half a year since I discovered initially it was Randy Feltface, which, when they made this, he was just, he hadn't added the Feltface yet. This was a time where the two of them would perform together. As they started performing together. Let's see, was it before he even thought of? Right, I'm gonna lift the. Let's see. Fuck. God damn it. I used to know his name. Okay, I'm just really quickly gonna. Let's see. Puppeteer behind Randy Feltface. Heath McIver. He and Sammy J worked together. Way back when. I think possibly before he. Before he started performing as Randy Feltface, certainly the some of the oldest stuff I've found that they did together was without Randy Feltface. But yeah, at this point, he hadn't added the Feltface yet. It was Sammy J and Randy performing together. And then they started doing things apart some of the time, which apparently there's no ill will, which is great. But yeah, I think at some point Heath McIver realized, if I get up in front of the entire world and say, I'm Randy, a lot of them are going to be like, well, don't take it out on us. And I've tried listening to everything that Sammy J and or Randy have done, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is the very best. I'm willing to concede that, but it is my personal favorite, and there's some tough competition there, But the fact that this, okay, so this opens literally sounding like a lullaby, depending on where you find it. It's either called R.E.M. Lullaby or both. And yeah, at the very start, it literally sounds like, oh, this is just like a traditional lullaby, So, gonna go over some of the lyrics. Good night, Randy. Rest your sleepy head. Good night, Sammy. Climb into your bed. This is just lullaby, And then there's these, poetic descriptions. You'll float away like a marshmallow cloud in the sky. Yeah, very, very straightforward. Lullaby. And then they describe some of the stages of falling asleep, with this very scientific, like, your body relaxes its actions, involuntary muscle contractions followed by feelings of falling. You're not really falling, after they already said, you'll float away. So they're going back and forth between these two types of, and yeah, they continue through stage 2. Still, they even use the word cortex, sporadic electrical impulses. And then it makes another turn. They say, stage 3 is the same more or less. Also love Randy's, he didn't have to go so hard. It's the words are just more or less, but he goes more or less. Right, also really love the bit where, your cortex, and then Sammy J, like, like pricks Randy there. He goes all like, just, yeah. I continue to be amazed by how much expression Heath MacIver gets out of this puppet he can't do anything with the eyes. It's generally just the mouth and his voice, and he gets so much out of it. Like, he's such a talented puppeteer. Let's see, but yeah, they don't get very far into describing stage 4 before the part that, there's I'm shocked that, like, this video, it's been up for 12 years now, which I also appreciate. A lot of people probably don't even remember this song exists, but I only, it's new to me. I only discovered it a few months ago, several months into listening to Randy's stuff and going through the backlog, which I do because I'm weird like that. Like, Randy, it's on Randy's channel. He has 1.28 million subscribers. It has 135,000 views, so that's already, like, criminally way too little for the... It only has 2.7 thousand likes. Like, are these people sleeping on their thumbs? Like, what is going on? But one of the comments, notes the time code for when the R.E.M. segment starts, and writes, let's see, maybe I'll be able to find it, something like, that's the, yeah, what we all came for. Right, also appreciate the one person wrote, best R.E.M. song that wasn't by R.E.M. And yeah, like, right, and someone notes, you can actually see, I noticed that myself, I'm not going to make a huge deal out of it, you can glimpse Randy's stick, between 150 and 158, and someone noted, the fiction is so good, I thought you were using a euphemism for Randy Face plush member. But yeah, the camera probably switched at the wrong time or something like that, but yeah. Let's see, and yeah, one person said, why did I think it was two puppets? I swear the other guy was an orange puppet. Anyway, yeah, there's so much I love about the R.E.M. segment of the R.E.M. song, not by R.E.M., but about R.E.M., of R.E.M. I love how short it is, and that sounds incongruous with how much I love listening to that part. Like, I usually listen to the entire song, but occasionally I'll just listen to the last little bit. But yeah, they could have made it long. The entire song could technically have been the R.E.M. phase, they've made other songs that, where the entire thing is just like, I don't know if I want to give away what it's called, but there's at least one of their songs that, like, it's established that, oh, this is, like, they're telling a story, but they keep, like, interrupting each other and correcting the story, and, like, by the end, they've barely told the story, they're always interrupting people. And they're so good at this thing of just, like, conveying so much more than if it was just a straightforward song. And that's one of the things I love about this one. I think, part of the reason I love that not the entire thing is R.E.M. is that it so brilliantly imitates because like the chorus itself takes up so much of the REM part. Like when you just sit down and read, I've got them right in front of me right now. The actual lyrics, there's not that many words. Like there's more words than for the first several phases of Sleep overall, and they're singing them fast to that's part of how it's even possible to have them all in such a short amount of time. But it so perfectly imitates REM because, like, yeah, it is this. It feels like it's over much faster, even though, like, I mean, if you're having healthy sleep, it's technically the longest. It's a, yeah. Ideally, you're getting a lot of hours of REM sleep. And I love that it is so utterly, like, there's no coherence to it. I will admit, one of the first times I listened to it, and I've listened to it a bunch, it did occur to me, should it maybe be building towards something? But then I realized, but that's the point, though. So many of our dreams, it does feel completely random. I don't think it's accidental. Like the last line before the REM, before they start going into REM, is your brain starts to fuck with your eyes. And that's exactly what they describe next. And it is what happens. And they also note it's our favorite part of the night. And also I love that REM is rapid eye movement. That's what it stands for when it's not about the band. And possibly something else. But they, to make it fit they change it to rapidly moving our eyes. But yeah, we get a couple, there's still a little bit of signs left. My blood pressure rises, my heart rate's increased, our brain paralyzes our limbs when we reach REM. And then we get into just like complete, like if the cinema of David Lynch, R.I.P., if his REM was translated into song lyrics, some of it would be in this song. The so little of it even goes together. It's basically these snapshots, and when certainly the next morning when you're trying to think back to it, it feels like snapshots. It is just these weird little images. Like some of the only stuff is now I'm flying a llama, now the llama's my mom. That's some of the only word builds. Other than that, just, yeah. And the sensory stuff they capture so well. Randy has a heart-on. There's an image. He's a Japanese vehicle, drowning in marmalade. Sammy's shoes are delicious. Right, and sitting exams, which one person thought, was that supposed to be shitting exams? But no, like, it was news to me as well, but sitting exams is apparently, I don't know how much of the United Kingdom says it like that, but, I mean, they're Australian, so apparently Australia at least says sitting exams. Yeah. And the last 3 lines are Randy saying, "I'm fingering Enya," and he proceeds to mime that out, which, yeah. And then Sammy says, one of the longest single lines in the entire, and staying on the same topic. "Now I'm in Zimbabwe and Robert Mugabe is waxing my balls." And it's such a, because like, he saw on TV, maybe that day, maybe a day earlier or something about, news from Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, this, that, and the other thing. And yeah, waxing balls again, this sensory, like you can practically feel it, and it's not something you want to be feeling, and that's dreams. And then Randy, the last bit before the final chorus and then the sun is rising bit, Randy goes, "I'm a flapjack," which I suppose could hypothetically go with drowning in marmalade. But yeah, just these images where people become things or animals, and these various, just I I love how utterly, like, genuinely incoherent it is. Like, you will get a headache if you sit down and try to, like, chart out how did we get from one dream to the next during the R.E.M segment. No one will be seated during the R.E.M segment of this song. And then it closes on, yeah, a wonderful, yeah. To be clear, in real life, I think it's important that we, you know, talk to other people about things that are bothering us, and such. And sometimes, analyzing your dreams by yourself or with someone else can be, you know, can give a lot to your personal, you know, self development, and such. And to be clear, I'm not. I don't think they're literally saying, it's a lot of the time they're not really to be taken completely seriously. They are comedians. Um, but yeah, sometimes, when it comes to dreams, I do agree. Once you wake up, forget it, or else keep that shit to yourself.